Hello there, and welcome. Well, last episode I read from the beginning of Guy Vanderhaeghe's fantastic story titled Drummer. There has never been a story I read for a class, and I did read that story for a class, that so suited me as much as that story did. And I went back and forth. There's a lot of authors I would still like to read. I haven't read James Joyce at all to you, and I love James Joyce. I haven't read Winesburg, Ohio, which I really thought about doing for today. But I thought maybe the confluence of a single principles teacher and a social studies class and religious intolerance were a great confluence of circumstances with this project that I just couldn't resist. So I hope you enjoyed the reading, and if you get a chance, definitely pick up the story. It's really quite good. But I thought maybe we could take some inspiration from it. One of the things that makes this story so wonderful, of course, is that first-person voice of that teenager and his sort of vulgar but funny and principled way of thinking about things. So, this is a possible suggestion for some writers because some writers just won't be able to do it. I've had a few writers that I've taught that, man, they just can't write down the vulgarities or the profanity at all. It just gives them the creepy crawlies. And truth be told, I struggle with it. I mean, I try not to put that stuff in my work. I try not to use that kind of language if I can avoid it, although it runs in my mother's side of the family. My Grandpa Jones was fantastically, horribly vulgar and profane. He was gifted. He could use combinations that one would never anticipate. So, it's not that I don't use them. I struggle against using them a lot. But here's the thing I want to suggest. I think one of the things that makes this particular story work so very well is this first-person speaker. And I think not all the time do first-person pieces work. They just don't. But sometimes the first-person lens gives you opportunities that you wouldn't have as a more intellectual or authorial voice. This kid seems to be just telling you this story, and this is the way he expresses himself. So, here's my suggestion. Write a poem or a story from the point of view of a person who is trying to talk about something really important, but is using bad language. Foul language. Now, of course, what it does in the beginning of Vanderhaeghe's story is it creates humor. But as you read the story, or at least as I read the story, it also created a kind of tension inside it where you see someone struggling against their own limitations, against their own cynicism about the world, and their own aspiration to greater justice and kindness in the world. And for me, that story, when I read it the first time, it just moved in and took a room in my heart, and it's been there ever since. I've loved it ever since. The title again is Drummer. Anyway, you might give that a try. Write a story or a poem from a first-person speaker who's struggling toward an important subject but has real trouble expressing it without being vulgar and or profane. That's it for today. I hope you have a glowing rest of the day, and I hope you see me again, you gorgeous people.